got to answer the bell. He has to answer the bell.
Hey guys, before we get started, just wanted to say thanks for supporting my channel in 2021, and I can't wait to see what 2022 holds for all of you guys. I do talk a little bit about this at the end of the video, but I just wanted to put at the front of the video, thank you for everything. Thank you for all the subscriptions and the likes and the support on this channel, getting it started, getting it off the ground this year. If you're watching this video and you're not subscribed to my channel, it would really mean a lot to me. If you click that subscribe button and that like button, it really helps me in terms of getting new people to see my videos. So have a happy new year and enjoy yourselves with what's left of 2021 today, and let's enjoy 2022 and all that comes with it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Dylan with Scrapologist MMA, and just wanted to drop a video before the end of 2021 to say thank you. And it's almost been a year of my time here on YouTube, and I've certainly enjoyed reviewing and talking about fights with all of you guys, and I'm looking forward to doing more of that in the coming year. So with that being said, just a quick announcement before we get into the video. Badge of Honor is loving what the channel is doing and what the channel brings to the table. So with that being said, they've increased our discount code for my viewers from 20% to 25% off your entire order. So please head over to badgeofhonor.com. It would mean so much to me if you picked up a Scrapologist shirt, but they have so many other cool designs that are designed by my friend Alex Pokey mostly, if not all of the designs, I'm sure, are designed by him. And it's just good martial arts clothing, kind of like that Roots of Fight style apparel, but without Roots of Fight style money, because some of those shirts are like $70. But anyway, enough jabbering. Let's get into the craziest fight I called this year. Just happened this last weekend at Fight For It XII. I love commentating Fight For It. It's my favorite show to work out of all the shows that I do, because it's my first show, and it really reminds me of when I was first starting out around 2 years ago in the commentary game. And yeah, I really love these shows, and you know, I've been working them for like 6 shows now, and every one I feel like gets better and better. Lately I've been working with the Mad Coach Seth Stevenson. If you're not familiar with him, if you watch my channel, I don't know how you couldn't be familiar with him, but just in case you're not, he's a super smart guy when it comes to martial arts, and a very good coach. And he's got a great YouTube channel in his own right. And his videos that he released leading up to this event really helped me with my preparation and research on this event. So thank you to the Mad Coach Seth for all that you've taught me so far in our short time working together. I've learned so much from you, buddy. And already you can hear me talking about Johnny Buck and Road Combat Club, and that is because I'm a Johnny Buck fanboy, of course. He's one of the best heavyweight grapplers on the East Coast, certainly one of the best, if not the best catch wrestler I've ever seen compete. Just an incredible coach, but lately he's just had such a mindset-based approach to everything that he's been doing and all of his coaching, and he recently won Worlds as well for Jiu-Jitsu, and he's in incredible shape compared to when I first met him 2-3 years ago. And his guys and his gym, what we're talking about right now, me and Seth, is we're just talking about how his guys just continue to get better and better.
Yeah, he looks thicker than a Snicker.
And if I remember correctly, they were having some trouble getting his headgear taped up for Christian, or it took a while to get the headgear taped up after the inspection. So I'm just going to tag forward a little bit here. But you can see it's been like 2.5 minutes. And this is Brandon Spencer from Conquer Martial Arts. So this right here is Justin Mitchell. You'll hear me in the fight misname him as Justin Williams probably about 50 billion times, and that's because, one, his opponent's name was Christian Williams that was fighting Brandon Spencer, but also because of the conflict MMA promoter Jared Williams. It just, the stars got crossed in my mind. I know his name is Justin Mitchell. We're friends on Facebook, so Justin, if you are watching the video, I apologize for misnaming you throughout the entire fight until Seth finally corrects me in the last bell. But Justin Mitchell, you know, when I befriended him on Facebook, he really struck me as like a fitness, strength, and conditioning based coach, but he really impressed me at this event. All of his guys that he sent in there, after the first round, he gave them some kind of basic one technique advice that won them the fight.
Right to the center and start throwing bounds.
Yes.
and I'll talk about that a little bit more.
Clinch is a big deal.
So this is Brandon Spencer's debut, and I think a lot of those guys over at Conquer, they're newer. They're a newer squad of guys. But they had a nice showing here at this event, picking up some wins.
We see Spencer
But
fighting with his eyes closed. That's not a good sign.
you can hear me say that Spencer's fighting with his eyes closed, and I realized after the event that Brandon wears glasses, because I saw him after the fight and he was walking around wearing glasses. And sometimes you see guys fighting with their eyes closed, and you're like, they're worried, they're like instinctively reacting to punches, which is like a sign that somebody hasn't had enough time in the sparring room to not have that instinctual reaction to kind of close your eyes or turn your head away from punches, and kind of either weave them or face them head on, or be able to just be comfortable absorbing even light strikes. But that was probably not the case with Mr. Spencer. With people that wear glasses and people that have astigmatism, they can fight at that range with their eyes closed sometimes. It didn't work out for Shannon Lovelace at the last event, but
left hand, right hand follow up.
and you can just see Christian Williams has some great technique on his boxing, but really the Muay Thai program is what the striking at Road Combat Club seems to be about from an outsider's perspective. Michael Kahlo, or Kahlo, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Michael. You're going to have to eventually find me and correct me one day. But they just have this concept of teaching their guys, this is how we attack the clinch. It seems like everything they do is rooted from a Muay Thai standpoint. But this is where the fight really started to turn and become one-sided in my mind. It was pretty one-sided the entire fight, but really after this series of punches, Brandon Spencer lands one strike, but he takes 5 or 6 really hard punches in return, and he's still getting jabbed on the retreat and the cross. And when you're this much shorter than a guy, you're talking about 5'7" versus 6'2". This is a big height discrepancy. You're going to have to find a way to get under and in. And I think that's what Brandon Spencer was doing, especially at the beginning of the fight. We saw him immediately press and go to the cage, but the 1-2s, especially, just the fundamentals from Christian Williams, they just kept him out the entire round. And this lead leg kick was called by this man right here. Justin Mitchell called for this leg kick, and as soon as he said the word leg kick, Spencer responds by throwing one, and you see what happens.
Good. Nice.
This is the first kind of positive impact Spencer's had the entire 1 minute 30 seconds of the fight, and he's smiling.
Again.
And that was just funny. That's just. Let's watch what happens here one more time, because it's pretty good. So Spencer catches him stepping forward on the leg, all the weight's there, and he puts all his weight down and on his toes. If your leg is flat, you can take a leg kick most of the time, unless the guy's just super powerful. I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Spencer has that kind of power, but he takes a leg kick as he's stepping onto the front of his foot. That's going to knock you down pretty much every time if you got all your weight distributed. He switches, goes to the same leg, boom, and knocks him down again, stepping onto onto the toes, the balls of the foot, if you will, or the balls of the flat of your foot.
He's getting caught stepping forward, and that Conquer squad, they love that leg kick. Justin Williams likes to call for that.
There I am misnaming the coach. God, I hate when that happens. It's been a great year of commentating fights. I didn't have a ton of work this year. I think I did 6 shows, but every show was great. Christian Williams, man, this is where he completely won the round. I agree with Seth. Seth is about to talk about how he thinks that would have been a knockdown. I pretty much agree. That would have been a knockdown in a ring for sure.
Reason being is because under normal kickboxing rules, if the enclosure has to hold you up, in other words, if the enclosure had not been here, would you have fallen down? And I think Spencer might have fallen down, but Donnie made a good call on it. He said it is what it is.
I agree with Seth there.
He's just doing the utmost.
I love this little guy. He was cracking me up all night.
He's doing everything.
He's icing.
Not
He's
only
recording.
in the future of the fight,
I mean, he's
in the future of the
multitasking.
corner.
And then he's also got the stool. I'm surprised they
He's
didn't
got
have him
the
carry
stool.
the bucket.
Is there anything this kid can't do?
And there's a lot of stuff
Tag
from
along
this
for the ride, you gotta
fight
work.
that's going into my commentary
All right,
highlight
Spencer
reel
looking a
for
little
sure.
tired in his debut as we head into the second round.
Hands on the hips, you know.
hit a
This is
lot.
one of those things where I was like, man, Spencer is tired. You know, he's obviously looking tired. I mean, when you're commentating a fight,
Let's see. Oh,
you often have this idea of like the momentum of the situation, especially when you're watching the fight live and in person, and you can see how close I am. I'm right here. When you're there, you can kind of feel the fight. I don't know how to describe it, but I'm sure if you sat cage side and you're watching this video, you know that feeling. You can feel the direction that the fight is moving, and you can feel when things are trending towards a finish sometimes. You know, I'm not saying that I felt that way when Brent Williams got knocked out by Dylan Williams in 10 seconds. I didn't necessarily feel that coming, you know, obviously. But especially in this fight, it just felt like Williams was so obviously better than Spencer. Right here, it's like while he was falling, he hit him 3 times. I mean, this guy's not just got length and technique, he's got speed, he's got power. I mean, Williams looked so good in this fight. It's hard to understate how good he looked. I mean, especially in these first 2 rounds.
He doesn't have much left, but he's still in it. Only thing that's going to help him is to land a good shot. If he can land a good shot, it'll get him back in the game.
And Williams is just if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
From Christian Williams, it's all fundamentals in this fight, and he is messing up Brandon Spencer, rearranging him right now against the cage wall.
I couldn't agree more. I think that was a brilliant call by me because it is fundamentals. It's fundamental Muay Thai, fundamental boxing, fundamental combat. It's fundamental ringsmanship.
You're going to get 3 knockdowns in this round.
This is exactly how you should be fighting as a taller fighter. Working the jab, throwing it out there.
He does not look exhausted. He does not look tired. He looks ready to go.
See, this is where I started messing up. I started to believe the situation so much of Williams being so much better that I couldn't see the signs of him being tired here. He was tired in the corner after he got the knockdown because his hands went onto his hip and he was kind of breathing heavy. But in that moment, I'm not really watching the monitors. I'm probably looking at Spencer because oftentimes when a guy gets knocked down, I'm looking directly at him to see if he's going to be able to continue or if they're going to make a mistake by allowing him to continue. You know, if you get my drift.
Fighter and the straight punches that
and the Muay Thai clinching. Crazy wheel kick from Spencer.
The wacky, waving, wild wheel kick from Brandon Spencer.
And I remember thinking when that happened, I was like, could you imagine if that landed and knocked Williams out? And I was just like, pfft.
Oh, he finally weaves
little
under
did I know.
That was good movement.
Here's where... Nope.
Now Christian Williams is starting to breathe a little bit. Finally,
yeah, see,
after 2 rounds of nothing but
I
pace,
start to see it now. I start to see the tiredness on Williams, but it doesn't become obvious to me until they fall over.
But he's been chopping hard, and Spencer's barely hanging in there with 19 seconds left.
Yeah, I thought Spencer was barely hanging on, but he's
tough guy.
This moment is where the fight was decided, in my opinion. This is where the fight was decided. You know, this is the moment because Williams is on the ground, Spencer's on the ground. Spencer gets up first. Even though he's been getting beat up all night, even though he's been getting hit with 1s and 2s to the face and knees to the body, and he's just been getting bullied by this bigger, longer, stronger guy, he's up first, and he's ready to go first. Not a good sign. I should have known.
Yes.
And all I said was he's tired now too, but what I really should have known how big a deal that was. Next time I will.
Outstanding.
This was when it became obvious to me and Seth. I think you hear Seth laughing, and I think when you hear Seth laughing and we're clapping from the commentator's booth, we have this idea of, you know, this is becoming a really good fight. If for nothing else, the fact that Spencer is just still hanging in there.
Boom. This fight looks a little bit different, but right now he's just eating the punch.
You hear Seth so mystic with the advice. All he needs is an angle, and he can deliver a shot. You know, you hear. Let's listen to what Coach Seth was saying one more time here.
In the corner. Now you take this guy's aggressiveness, give him an angle. Boom. this fight looks a little bit different. But right now,
take his aggressiveness and give him an angle, and this fight looks a little bit different. I want you to remember that as we approach these final 2 minutes here.
He has to go so far into that threshold.
He's got to go, and he's got to go fast.
Spencer is a very aggressive fighter for his size and for his weight class. If he could shed 10 or 15 pounds more and get like really cut up, he could give a lot of guys at 170. I think this was at 185. I think he could give a lot of guys at 170 and even maybe 165 problems, because in kickboxing you can fight at 65 a lot. Another real kick.
He is tough.
And we're complimenting the toughness of Spencer, because what else are you going to do at this point in the fight? But you see he starts landing now.
All night for Christian Williams.
He's trying to attack the body.
And this is one of those classic fighter's dilemmas, because I say on the mic that the cross is landing for Williams all night, and it was, but there is a such thing as too much of a good thing, because throwing that cross down the pipe continuously, even if it's hitting at a certain point, if you're not gaining anything from it, if you're not damaging your opponent more or moving the fight more in a direction of finishing it, you could potentially run into a situation like we're seeing here.
Causing a little bit of misdirection.
Yeah, Johnny Buck saying, I don't want you resting on the cage, get off that cage.
Brandon Spencer, there's no doubt in my mind he's tired. He's tired. But, there's some guys who, when they get tired, they have the ability to just tell themselves, I'm going for it.
Let you go for a little bit here.
He's got no mouthpiece, and he's still just coming forward, throwing leg kick, leg kick, leg kick. And they're naked, so he's hitting. He's drilling them with crosses. I mean, you see it right there. As he takes each kick, he is just hitting him, peppering him, peppering him, peppering him. This is when he starts. After he takes that second one, he doesn't like it, so he starts throwing these with power. And this is like the last bit of energy Williams has got. 3 or 4 clean punches there, landing solidly, and the guy just is still coming forward, still putting hands on you, still pushing you up against the fence. I mean, that is exhausting mentally and physically.
Uppercut through the middle.
This is where Spencer starts to win the fight.
Williams is tired, buddy.
He's got to survive this minute. He's got 1 minute.
He's resting on the cage wall.
He's really resting.
Wow.
Spencer's fighting his way back into this, and they're in a phone booth now.
This is where I start to go crazy. 2-3 knees to the body, and you can tell the first one really hurt because he immediately folded over.
Smiling.
Yes.
Boom. That one seems like it was the lightest one, like the tappiest tap one, but if you go back and watch it lands right under the elbow. Watch this last one. See how his elbow comes up to kind of control the clinch?
He's smiling.
Yes.
He sneaks that elbow in. We don't have a great angle on it, but I remember watching live, I saw that elbow, or that knee, sorry.
Oh, that's a knockdown.
And it put him on his knee, and in the moment you can hear me on the mic, I'm like, I'm not sold on that being a knockdown, but now, watching it after the fact, I do think that should have been called a knockdown.
That's a knockdown. He ate a knee and then went down. That's a knockdown.
Here we go.
Oh, man. Williams is exhausted.
We're just going to watch the finish together.
And this is ridiculous. Oh, my God. World Star. What am I seeing? World Star. What am I seeing here?
Some straight up Amanda Nunes blind mom boxing.
This is ridiculous.
Shout out to Jack
Spencer is smiling. He's coming on him. What a freaking fight.
Oh my goodness!
Don Fry would be proud of that one.
Oh my goodness!
All right, these 2 young men coming down the stretch here with 10 seconds left. They've had one of the best fights of the night so far.
Oh my!
Brandon Spencer is so strong. Oh! That's so close to the bell.
He's got to answer the bell. He has to answer the bell. He's got to answer the bell
right now.
He's got to answer the bell.
Oh, he's not getting up.
He's not.
Brandon Spencer was a knockout. Oh my God!
What did I just see? What did I just see?
You're never gonna see an amateur MMA show. Oh my goodness!
That was outstanding.
This guy. That's
one of the wildest
Justin Mitchell.
you are ever gonna see. Brandon Spencer with 10 seconds left embraces the violence, lands a huge body kick, and gets it done.
Embrace the violence is the official, unofficial slogan of Road Combat Club. So that was a little sprinkling of some shade there. Not complete shade, of course. I love Road Combat Club, but I love, embrace the violence.
Oh my goodness!
I say it about Deuce Carter later as well. All right.
Thank you, buddy.
Let's go back. So I say thank you, buddy, there because when that finish happened and Donnie waved it off, I jumped out of my seat, and that's why when the camera pans back over to us, we're out of our seats and jumping. Me and Seth both jumped out of my seat, but I jumped in such a way that my seat flew back into the VIP table area. So somebody from the VIP tables handed me my chair, and so I was like, "Thanks, buddy." So I hope I didn't hit whoever was watching that. All right, let's watch the finish this time from about 25 seconds left, where they meet back up in the middle, and I'll mute the commentary this time. So Christian Williams is so tired that he's having trouble even walking around. Donnie Williams has been in there enough times to know when a guy is so exhausted that it's dangerous for them to be in there. Christian Williams is approaching that point where it's dangerous for him to continue to be in there because of how tired he is. Not necessarily because he's taking a lot of brain damage, but because he's so tired that he can't intelligently defend himself. And that's kind of what we see here. So you see Spencer starts this whole shablam off, this whole finishing sequence here, rips one to the body. And I don't know if he's, in the moment, in the third round of a fight, especially a fight like this, who knows if anything is going through your mind or if you're just flowing. But he has done so much damage to that body over the course of the last minute with those knees and the pressure against the fence and how tired he is. I mean, I don't know if he even realizes what he did in this moment here. It was crazy. And it's just straight punches. And watch this coach from Conquer. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's just calling him forward. Knees to the body, knees to the body. 10 seconds left. We hear the clapper. I'm talking about how they've had one of the best fights of the night. I'm doing my thing, right? Like, when you're a commentator, you don't think a finish is going to happen in the last 10 seconds most of the time, especially when both guys appear to be as tired as they were. So I'm starting my end of pitch statement here. Like, I'm saying, these guys have had one of the best fights of the night. They're coming down the stretch with 10 seconds left. Looks like it's going to go to the scorecards, but that's clearly not what happened. I mean, especially right here, I should have just known that, oh man. If you watch this kick, let's watch it slow playback. He digs this one, and it's right on the money. I mean, it's as on the money as you can get. I mean, look how high up Williams' arms are, and then Spencer steps back, and he's not even got amazing technique, but look at how far he turned his leg out. This is great technique on that kick. The only thing you'd like to see is maybe the heel planted for more power, but he clearly had some power. I mean, look at the aftershock on this. I'm going to speed it up a little bit because it does pixelate it to the point where it's not even watchable. This is better. And you can see, with a guy like Williams, with him being as svelte as he is, when you get hit, you're not going to have that big dramatic ripple effect, but you can see the shockwave, like the little small shovel. It's like a shovel kick. I mean, it came up and in instead of straight out from the side. It kind of came at a diagonal upward angle. And that can kind of sometimes get under that floating rib too. So, I mean, right on the money, right on the liver. That's going to shut him down. And I remember when that kick happened, I was like, I don't know. All you got, because maybe he is just tired. Maybe he does just need to stand up. But then, as it became so obvious that he was in a lot of pain, like writhing. He's writhing. You can see Jason, our producer right here. This is hilarious. Watch him. Oh, he knows. Yeah, because Jason can hear everything that I'm saying, and he can also. He's also watching the fight from more angles than any of us. So he knows how one-sided this fight is. And it's very rare to get a reaction from him like this on a fight. But he knows that this is a pretty special moment. I haven't seen him like that since the Brent Williams, Dylan Williams thing. Yeah, but that is it, guys. That is one of the craziest finishes you are ever going to see. That's one of the craziest fights, start to finish. this VOD was really chill and, you know, a review of it. But if you go back and watch the live VOD here, I'll link it in the description below on Fight For It's YouTube channel. You can kind of really feel that energy, if you will.
Has been finished with all the last
Brandon Spencer,
Fight For It history.
What a
congratulations, man. I mean, you'll never forget your debut. I mean, I'm sure that there are everybody who trains, everybody who has done what we do, they will never forget the first time that they competed. I'm sure you never will, but that is bound to be maybe the most memorable fight of your career. I mean, that, trust me when I say that is something special. And there are not a lot of people who will get to have a moment like you're having right here, where you were tested for, you know, 3 straight rounds of abuse, of punishment, of damage, and to be standing here, right here in this moment, getting your hand raised. It's hard to tell on the video, but I remember in this moment right here, I looked at Mr. Spencer, and he had this moment where he was looking around. You see, right here, look at his face, real emotional. And it would be hard to not be emotional in that situation. I mean, that is, he probably learned a lot about himself in that moment, in that fight. You know, not a lot of people get tested that way that early, and that's a phenomenal job by the Conquer martial arts team. And you know, Christian Williams, he looked like a champion all fight. I mean, his stock doesn't go down in a fight like that. And it's his amateur career. It's still very early for him. That's only his second bout sanctioned. I'm sure we will see more of him, because those Road Combat guys, they do not quit, they do not give up, and they don't mind taking an L to get 3 or 4 wins. So that being said, guys, that is it for this video here. For the most part, you can stick around for the next minute or so if you want to hear what I say about the future of the channel. Yeah, it's been a month or so since we talked about Halle Berry's Bruise. I had a super fun time with Trevor doing that. Over Christmas and the holidays, I have invested heavily in studio equipment for the purpose of making a podcast studio for a weekly MMA podcast show with me and Trevor on this channel coming in 2022. Probably going to start off sometime around the first major UFC card of 2022. That's going to be the biggest thing on this channel. I noticed that this channel grows the most, or has the most interaction, when I upload as frequently as possible. And I have not had that kind of time or drive lately to produce any content. Realistically, my father passed away recently, and it took a lot of the wind out of my sails in terms of this, all of this. But I will say that, the 3 days after he passed away, I was at Next Level Fight Club at Myrtle Beach calling a show, and then we buried him the next week, and then 3 days after we buried him, I'm doing Fight For It commentary. So, doing those 2 shows after his death, they reminded me of why I do what I do. And in 2022, I'm more focused on myself and more focused on this than ever before. And, I've basically spent like nearly $1,000 in the past 3 or 4 weeks on equipment to make these videos better and more appealing to more people. So yeah, if you're watching this, you're one of my first 250 subscribers, and I thank you so much for sticking with me through 2021. And I'm looking forward to 2022, including the 1-year anniversary of this channel coming in late February, I believe is when we started. So almost a year here, and very inconsistent in terms of, what we're doing and where we're going. But I think I'm finally starting to figure that out. Thank you guys so much for supporting the Scrapologist in 2021, and let's see where the future holds for us. Enjoy the fights and yourselves.